Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I am going to answer one of the Selenium interview questions. That is, what are the advantages of using TestNG? Let me answer. So here are the list of advantages of using TestNG in our projects. So let me explain these advantages one by one. First one, prioritizing the tests. Using TestNG, we can prioritize the tests where according to the specified priority, okay, the test will run in the order, okay. So if there are 5 tests and to the 5 tests, if you have provided different priorities based on the priority provided, the test will run in that particular order. So this is possible with the help of TestNG. Next advantage we get with the help of TestNG is it provides something known as assertions. You see there, you will write lot of tests, okay. You will write lot of tests like automation tests and all. Ultimately, the test need to either pass, fail, right? Either it need to pass if it is if the whatever the automation code you have written in that particular test with the help of TestNG and all, if that particular test is passing, that means the code is running properly without any issues and all, then the test will pass. Okay, how to pass the test? With the help of assertions. Okay, if the assertion is like a condition, for example, if you have a test, say you want to log into the application, you want to check whether the user is able to log in with valid credentials. So in the automation script at the end, you will write down and you will verify with the help of assertions whether a particular option which is to be displayed to the logged in user is coming or not. If that assertion is fine, then only the test is going to pass. If that particular option which is generally visible to the logged in user is not coming, then the assertion given by TestNG is going to fail the test. So assertions are something important in TestNG. Then controls the execution flow using annotations. Okay, in TestNG there are a lot of annotations like at the rate test annotation, at the rate before method, before at the rate before class, at the rate after method, at the rate after class, before suit, after suit. Like that, many annotations are there. With the help of these annotations, the TestNG will be able to will be able to control the flow of the execution of the code. Okay, in which order the flow should go. And not only that, for every test there will be some setup code, then there will be some tear down code. Okay, that is setup code is a code which need to run before every test. Tear down code is a code which need to run after every test. Instead of duplicating this setup and tear down code in every test method, we'll separate that into the individual setup and tear down methods with this TestNG annotations, because of which the duplication will be reduced. Okay, we'll remove the duplication of the code by separating the setup code of every test method into one method and tear down closure code or tear down code of every method into one method. Okay, the duplication of the code will be reduced. And with the help of this annotation, the control flow will be control flow will be managed. Okay, so it will decide which block of code to be executed in which order. Then parameterization of the test. Next advantage we get from TestNG is parameterization of test. That means data-driven testing is possible, and also we can remove the hard coding of the data with the help of parameterizing. You see there in normal Java or something, if you see there will be some method without any parameters. When you're calling that method, you don't have to pass any data. Such kind of methods without any parameters, when you're calling, you don't have to pass any data. But there may be some methods having some single parameter or multiple parameters. In that case, when you are calling that method, you have to pass the respective amount of data according to the number of parameters available in that method. Okay. So here also we can parameterize our tests. In TestNG also we can parameterize our tests where while the hard-coded data can be removed with the help of parameterization. We can pass the data from external source to that particular parameterized test. Not only that, we can pass multiple sets of data to the same test method, so that if there are 5 sets of data, the same test method is going to run 10 times. We don't have to write the same test method 10 times, if you have a test method which has like 10 sets of data, let's assume, in that case, the test method has to run 10 times. Okay. We don't have to write the test method 10 times. Rather, if you one single test method you will provide, under that you will provide 10 sets of data. The same test method is going to repeatedly run 10 times with every time with each set of data. Such kind of thing is called as data driven testing, where data is driving the testing. Then can enable or disable the test from execution. You see there are hundreds of tests. Suddenly you want to run only 99 tests, one test you don't want to run. Okay, for that you don't have to break your head. You can disable that single test out of that 100 tests from execution, which is possible with the help of TestNG. Then we can categorize the tests via grouping. Okay, so client may ask you to run smoke tests someday. Client may ask you to run all the tests one day. Client may ask you to run only the regression test or only the sanity test one day. So whatever the requirement may be, so we have to provide, we have to group the tests under different groups and all, which is done with the help of TestNG. TestNG provides a means where you can categorize the test by grouping them into different categories. And whenever the client will ask, you don't have to break your head. Simply using that group name, you can run the tests. Okay, that is possible with the help of TestNG. Then parallel execution of the tests. At a time, if you want to run multiple tests in your mission to save your time of the execution and all, then this parallel execution of tests is possible with the help of TestNG. TestNG will give you some means using which you can make the tests run parallelly. At the same time, multiple tests can run to save your time. That is possible with the help of TestNG things. Then we have listeners in TestNG. What are listeners? Listeners listen to, as the name speaks, listeners, they listen to the events triggered by the individual test methods. Sometimes the test method will, a lot of events will be fired by test methods like starting of the test, ending of the test, or, passing of the test, failure of the test, whatever it may be, the different type of events will be fired by the listeners. Based on the events fired by the events fired by the test methods, these listeners will capture those events, and accordingly, we can write some programming code in the listener methods. Okay, according to the triggered events, we can perform different activities. For example, if a event is coming from a test method and listener is listening to that event, that event is not about nothing but the failure of the test. The test got failed is the event. Okay, and listener has listened to that particular event saying that test got failed, and we can write some code inside this listener method saying, okay, if the test is failed, we have to take a screenshot. Okay, only when the test fails, if you have to take the screenshot, then with the help of listener, that is only one example I provided. That is possible with the help of test engine. Then we have reports. Okay, by default, Selenium will not generate any reports, but if you use this test engine with Selenium, in Selenium projects, if you use test engine, when you run the Selenium automation scripts, a default TestNG report will be generated. Okay, we can get the reports also with the help of it generates some TestNG reports. Fine, these are the different advantages of using TestNG in the projects. There are many other more, but these are the major ones. So hope guys understood what are the different advantages of using TestNG in this session. So that's all for this session. Thank you. Bye bye.